the matchup kind of speaks for itself. You have the Cowboys who are just on a roll at this point, and then you got the Vikings who, of late, they've been playing some pretty solid football. So, Kevin, I'll pose the question to you. With the Cowboys and the Vikings squaring off in this Sunday night matchup, which quarterback are you taking in this matchup and why?
So it's a little weird for me, and here's why. Both teams, at least offensively, are very similar in a lot of ways. Quarterback play has been absolutely stellar. Both running backs, well, when Dalvin is healthy, can be considered a top five grouping in terms of out of the top backs in the league. They could be in the top five category. I apologize. Um, they have a great group of a receiving core. Obviously, headlined in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. And then on the Minnesota side, you have Justin Jefferson and obviously Adam Thielen. And then you have good offensive line play. But here's where it differs. The Dallas Cowboys have had exceptional offensive line play to where they are absolutely pretty much dominating the line of scrimmage in almost every single matchup that they've had, whether that be run blocking or pass blocking. And I feel that makes a very big difference here. I mean, the record speaks in and of itself. Both defenses, in terms of statistically, aren't exactly great. The only great factor on Dallas's defense is, Trayvon Diggs, because he leads the league in interceptions. But I'm probably going to give this edge toward Dallas because Dallas is on a roll. They have played some pretty good teams out there. They have also played some bad teams. Let's not, take that away. But I just think that the combination of Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and obviously the offensive line are just going to be pretty much too much for the weakened defensive scheme that is the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like the Cowboys are going to get up and down the field as they please. They're going to control time of possession. And I feel that, they're just going to continue their success running the football. So unless Kirk Cousins is able to dissect the holes and the coverages that Dallas designs for them, maybe keeping the ball away from Trayvon Diggs, I don't necessarily know exactly how that is going to pan out. But I definitely got Dak with the edge to this one. I don't have a particular score, but I do think this is going to be a really good game, though.
No, I completely agree. And the way that I see this game kind of playing out is twofold. So, like you mentioned with the offensive line, I think that Dallas is going to win that offensive line matchup. And they've been doing that consistently throughout the entire year. And the reason why I think that's always important is because it always starts up in the trenches, because it opens up run lanes for the running backs. And it also gives time for the quarterback to be able to throw the ball to his receivers. And with the way that Dallas has been playing, not just the last game or two, but really the entire season so far, they've had great offensive success. And it's due to part what that offensive line has been able to give to Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Dak Prescott. Just because some of the run lanes that this offensive line is giving, I mean, these holes are at least a man and a half wide. And literally, Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott, they don't even really have to make cuts on their runs. They could literally just run straight through the A, B, or C gap without any sort of resistance whatsoever from the defense. When it comes to Dak is having just a phenomenal year, not only sitting in the pocket, but being able to extend plays with his feet. And he's really at the top of the MVP discussion as well. And it really kind of goes to the point of just how successful that the Cowboys have been this season. It's really a far cry from last year. Granted, Dak got hurt with that major ankle injury that he suffered against the Giants, but he has really stepped up his game from last season, and he's just taken it to a whole new level. And when I look at the Vikings, though, I have to respect what the Vikings have done of late, and I have to kind of specifically focus on Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been an up-and-down quarterback, to say the least, in his NFL career at this point. There have been times where he's looked really good, where he's, throwing 30, 35 touchdowns, but there have been times where he's just really turnover prone, and he'll throw a lot of interceptions. This year in particular, I think he's having a phenomenal year. He has 13 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and he's got some great options to throw to. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, this kid Osborne that got the game-winning touchdown against Carolina. He has some decent playmakers to throw to, and I think offensively, the Vikings are going to be in it with the Cowboys. I just think that the Cowboys, their offense is just a little bit too explosive for the Vikings to handle in this game. I think Dak is going to have the edge over Kirk in this game. I think Dak could go out there and throw for potentially 300, 350 yards passing. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws 3 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like CD Lamb getting 1 or 2, Amari Cooper, maybe even Dalton Schultz as well, just because that really seems to be his favorite target as far as his tight ends go. And I think Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, they're going to have great games on the ground as well. So I think this is going to be a high scoring affair. I think this is just a matchup where I think both defenses are just going to give up points like Oprah used to do back in the day when she gave out free cars. Like, all right, this team gets a touchdown. This team gets a touchdown. It's going to be back and forth the entire game in that regard. But I'm going to give the edge to the Cowboys. I think they win this one by a touchdown. I have the score 34-27. And I think the Cowboys, they just kind of extend their winning ways. And even though that the Vikings, I have them losing this game, I think it's going to be a valiant effort. I think it's just going to be a little bit short for this one against the Cowboys, though.